I was sickened. I was sickened by the standing ovation.
I felt disgusted. I found the standing ovation to be disgusting. Music, I would marry you if I were much younger, and we would have fat, freckle-faced children. It's difficult to comprehend the extent of brutality in humanity. Hollywood is no stranger to drama, and Jim Carrey seems to have perfected the art of criticizing other celebrities. However, before we get into his most recent altercation with Will Smith, let's not forget that Carrey is no stranger to shocking headlines and a twist that have left many people perplexed. In a 2022 appearance on CBS Mornings, Jim Carrey publicly criticized Will Smith, the Fresh Prince himself, for what Carrey claimed was Smith's involvement in the Academy Awards Slapgate incident, all the while ignoring his own troubled background. Carrey expressed his feelings to the public on Will Smith's slap of Chris Rock. Not only that, but he also stated some harsh things about the way the Oscars audience handled the matter. Here are his thoughts. The standing ovation horrified me, and I thought that Hollywood was being incredibly cowardly. After Smith slapped Rock, Carrey stated he ought to have been led out of the Oscar ceremony. That video is going to remain around forever and be widely shared, so I would have said this morning that I was suing Will for $200 million. Carrey stated, that insult is going to linger for a very long time. Feel free to express your disapproval on Twitter or with a yell from the audience, but you don't have the right to come up on stage and smack someone in the face just because they said something. Carrey determined that Will was irritated with something going on inside of him, which is why the slap came out of nowhere. I hope the best for Will. I don't have anything against Will Smith. He's accomplished a lot. However, yesterday night's incident was selfish and cast a cloud over everyone's shining moment. Ironically, this circumstance is a prime example of the proverbial pot calling the kettle black. Even with his polished public persona, Jim Carrey has been involved in a number of eye-raising scandals. These incidents mostly occurred during the Academy Awards in his heyday, when Carrey's humorous antics frequently crossed the line into controversy, and the Oscars weren't immune to his disruptive style. He will always be remembered for his 1995 Oscar red carpet performance, in which he delightfully interrupted interviews and wore shoes on his hands. Although his antics were written off as comic eccentricity, they clearly violated the formalities of the esteemed occasion. And let's consider, after Carrey's outburst against Smith, ignore Harry's personal life scandals. When a video of Carrey, then 35, kissing Alicia Silverstone at the 1997 MTV Movie Awards, without her permission, went viral on Twitter, it revealed details of his own troubled background and sparked charges of SA. According to The Independent, Silverstone, who was only 20 at the time, was clearly upset about the incident and thought the kiss was degrading. Later, Carrey apologized to her backstage. Music. Furthermore, one would think that Jim Carrey, whose Hollywood career has spanned an astounding 3 decades, this cringeworthy interview between Carrey and the gullible reporter Charlotte left us all with raised eyebrows and awkward shivers down our spines in a fateful rendezvous that transpired back in 2020. The seasoned entertainer had mastered the delicate art of handling interviews with poise and grace, but even the most seasoned veterans of the industry are not immune to the occasional verbal misstep. Reporter Charlotte Long may have naively broached the topic of Carrey's bucket list, but nobody could have predicted that this meeting would turn into a gruesome spectacle that would become ingrained in Hollywood's gossip culture as the conversation meandered through Carrey's illustrious career and aspirations. And then the movie. After all that, the actor told the reporter to just own it before she quickly changed the topic. Later, Carrey came under fire for what many saw as an inappropriate and creepy comment. One fan wrote to Charlotte, saying, "I'm a huge fan of Jim Carrey, but I lost respect for him today." This is really unacceptable. I wish and hope he apologizes to you, but you handled it really well. More power to you. Meanwhile, some fans defended Carrey's flirtatious remarks, while others acknowledged they just saw it as a joke during the incident. One admirer remarked, "So clearly I'm among the few who found Jim Carrey's joke, while perhaps not the best, to be unsettling." Kudos Charlotte is a professional who handled the situation like a champ. However, many were incensed by Jim's response to the fan outcry. One of his representatives topped on page 6, calling the incident ridiculous, and that it was a ridiculous non-story. The entire quote was, "Just you, that's it, I'm all done now." Jim was obviously referring to the interview as something he wanted to do, and he wasn't referring to the journalist in any way. This is just another example of a headline designed to attract attention on social media. But it wasn't the first time the actor acted strangely around a female interviewer at New York Fashion Week in 2017. Carrey circled about the reporter several times as he approached her, then bemoaned the event's meaninglessness, which he oddly labeled as the lowest possible potential. "Jim Carrey, I happened to run across Jim Carrey. Tell me, is it true that you're just hanging about the city?" In addition, Jim has had to deal with some rather significant legal issues. Jim Carrey is well known for being remarkably candid about his past significant relationships. Among his partners are Oscar winner Renee Zellweger, whom he once called the love of his life. In contrast to his other high-profile relationships, Carrey started dating Irish national Catriona White in 2012. With a 23-year age difference, White, a relatively unknown cosmetics artist, became an unusual pair. Their love ended tragically when White committed suicide in 2015. She was only 30 when, according to The Guardian, a number of obscene allegations surfaced after White's passing. In response to allegations that the actor had installed round-the-clock surveillance in White's home, White's mother, Bridget Sweetman, filed a second wrongful death suit. Mark Burton, White's ex-husband, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Carrey, claiming that he gave her the drugs that would ultimately end her life. Mr. Carrey took steps to conceal and obfuscate his involvement and culpability in Miss White's untimely and tragic death, according to Burton's suit. White also claimed that Carrey was manipulative and controlling over his ex. In any case, as all of these examples have demonstrated, Jim is in no position to scold Sweetman for allegedly accusing Carrey of subjecting her daughter to mental abuse and giving her unspecified illnesses.